Hey everybody, layers in GIMP. You get a new layer anytime you create a new image. There's your layer. You get a new layer anytime you right click and choose new layer. You get a new layer anytime you click on the new layer button down here. It'll always give you this box asking you if you wanted to name it, the size, and what you want in the background, white transparency or whatever, just like making a new image. You get a new layer anytime you duplicate a layer. You can also click the duplicate button down here. You get a new layer anytime you click and drag a picture into GIMP. You get a new layer anytime you add text. Here's some text. And there's the new layer right there. True type font layer, text layer. Let's say I'm on the Hermie layer and I select part of it and copy and then paste. That makes a new layer. Now notice it calls it a floating selection and in parentheses pasted layer. Well, there it is. I can move it around, but it'll only exist within the size of the Hermie layer I got it from. Now here's a note on floating selection pasted layer. In the GIMP manual and information, it talks about the floating selection. In early versions of GIMP, floating selections were used for performing operations on a limited part of an image. You can do that more easily now with layers, but you can still use this way of working with images. I would only do that if you're used to doing it the old way. For now and going forward in all of our purposes, whenever we have a copy and paste and it's pasted into a floating selection, we're going to right click it and choose to new layer. So now, if I click on the move button and I'm on pick a layer or guide and I pick that layer, I'm moving Hermie around anywhere I want within the size of the actual canvas. Now here's something important. If I want to work on any of these particular layers, I have to actually click on the layer itself to work on it. If I click on Hermie, the big one, you'll notice that the yellow and black dashed line is surrounding the Hermie layer. If I click on the text, yellow and black line is surrounding the text layer. If I click on the pasted layer here, yellow and black is surrounded the pasted layer. I'm in the move command, and so when you choose to move a layer, you need to make sure that you move the layer you want to. If I want to move, and this is checked, pick a layer or guide, that means I click on whatever layer I want to move. If I click on this layer, which is the main Hermie image, I'll be moving that. If I pick on the text, the actual black part of the text, I'll be moving that. If I move on this white part, I'm moving the background, because it's whatever layer you actually pick on that shows pixels, that isn't transparent, you'll be moving that layer. If I want to move this text layer, but I can't pick the black, or I don't want to have my mouse in front of it while I move it, then you would use the move the active layer option. And then no matter where I click, let's pick the actual text layer. And then no matter where I click, I'm moving that layer. Just makes it a little more convenient if I want to move a layer where it's hard to click on. And of course the most important part is the order of the layers that you place. Let's get rid of some of these layers that we're not using. Right click, delete layer. Right click, delete layer. Right click, delete layer. If I want the text to be in front of the actual pasted layer, I place it up there. Now if I move the text, it's going to be in front of that pasted face layer. If I move the text behind the pasted layer, it is gone. The border is still there because that's the layer I have selected. If I click on the Hermie layer and turn off the pasted layer, I see the text because the text is above or on top of the Hermie layer but behind the pasted layer. I'm going to show you how I made a creation here that I call Uderbraten. In GIMP, I originally imported, of course, the Johnsonville Bratwurst image. In that same layer, I removed the bratwurst text as best that I could, and I changed the pork text to Uter, and then I added everything else. Well, they're all done in layers. I have Uter, and then I have the package label on top of Uter, a copy of that so that it's in front of him. Then I have Uterbraten, the text, and I have umlauts above the U right there. Well, those were all done in layers so that if I wanted to move anything exactly where I wanted it, I could. Now, I also wanted to add some shadows to some of these items. So Uter here has a shadow, and I put the shadow under Uter. If I turn off Uter, you see just the shadow. Turn on Uter, he's on top of the drop shadow. That's why he's on top and in front of it. And same thing with the Uterbraten text here. I wanted to add a shadow, so I did. Turn the text off and you see just the shadow. And for the umlauts, I had to add a shadow as well to make it match, so I put the shadow in there. I'm going to go over all of these things in future tutorials, but for now I just wanted to show you how the layers work. Everything goes on top of the other. And another thing, this is very important. Every layer, of course, you can right-click and choose to merge the layer down. This will combine my umlauts layer into the umlauts drop shadow layer. Merge down. And so the umlauts drop shadow layer by itself is the umlauts and the shadow with it. It's now one layer, it's not two separate items. Well, I don't like to do that. So I'm going to Control Z out of this and show you why. Now I have the layers broken up again, umlauts and the umlaut drop shadow. If I want to move it around, I just link them together. Then I click on the layer and it moves, along with the shadow. In fact, most of the projects that I've ever done, when I open up the GIMP file again, all of the layers are there. I don't merge them down at all. Because once you're done with an image, you can click on File and Export to get your JPEG or your PNG or GIF or whatever type of image you want. And that will be the image that you post online or share with your friends or do whatever you want with. The actual GIMP file, I leave all the layers there most of the time so that I can come back and edit it and tweak it if I want to. And there you go. That's layers in GIMP. I'm Anthony, and thanks for watching.